From WNDU TV, this is 16 News Now.
The Fighting Irish are back in the win column. Notre Dame bounces back after last week's loss to Georgia to take down Virginia 35-20 and improve to 3-1 on the 2019 season. Thanks for sticking with us. After the game, I'm 16 News Now Sports Director Mark Skoll Jr.
And I'm WHNE Sports Director Chuck Fraby. The Irish remain undefeated at home with a big win against a top 20 team. Let's bring in our friend, Irish Illustrated's Tim Priester. After the Georgia game, Tim, Brian Kelly said this game today against the Cavaliers would define who the Irish really are. Do you think we know who they are now?
Defensively. I don't know about offensively, but defensively, that's the defense that we've been expecting for a while. You saw them do that against Georgia and felt like they could build upon it. Against the Virginia offense, quite frankly, that had struggled. But Bryce Perkins was tremendous. But they ended up doing a great job against him, keeping him in the pocket. The pass rush is back. It was only a matter of time before Julian Okwara and Khalid Kareem put it all together, and they did today.
Notre Dame with the 35-20 win. Let's show you how it all went down. The Virginia Cavaliers came out red hot on their first drive of the game. Bryce Perkins throws it Joe Reed's way. It's almost intercepted by Julian Okwara, and then Reed scurries on off. He's brought down at the 10-yard line. The Cavs were cooking. Then on 3rd and goal, Irish look to hold Virginia to a field goal, but Perkins buys some time in the pocket and finds a wide-open Reed all by himself in the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia. The Cavaliers take an early 7-0 lead, and it was not a strong start for the game for the Notre Dame defense.
No, it wasn't, but Bryce Perkins is a run-pass threat. And there were only 2 quarterbacks in the country last year that threw for more than 2,600 yards and rushed for more than 900 yards. One of them was Kyler Murray, the other won the Heisman Trophy. The other one was Bryce Perkins. He's a good football player.
Notre Dame on its first drive of the ball game then. The Irish would face 3rd and 10 in danger of going 3 and out. Ian Book scrambles. The pass is incomplete, but there's a flag on the play. Virginia is offside, and Notre Dame takes advantage. Later in the drive, 3rd and long again. Book would connect with Michael Young, who's back. He makes a nice grab. On the field for the first time this season after coming back from that broken collarbone. Irish move the chains. They get it down to the 5, and then 6 for 6. Tony Jones Jr. in the end zone for the score. Nice first drive of the game, but boy, penalties were costly to the Cavs today.
There's no doubt about that. And Notre Dame, who would have thought that they were going to run the football into the end zone in this game? Virginia has a very good defense. There's no doubt about that. And that contributed greatly to Notre Dame's struggles. But once again, I'm moving ahead a little bit here, but as we get into the 3rd quarter, we'll see that Notre Dame really struggled. They had 1 first down. I think it was a holding penalty against the Virginia defense. Last week against Georgia, 0 first downs in the 3rd quarter.
On Virginia's next drive, the Hoos were moving quickly, but then Julian Okwara does the dirty work. He brings down Perkins for his 2nd sack of the season, comes up with the football. The Irish take over, and they take advantage. Watch Sebo go. Sebo Flemister finds the sacred land. He gets in the end zone for his 2nd career touchdown, and Notre Dame's 2nd touch of the ball game. Notre Dame takes the 14-7 lead. Good to see the Irish get the running backs the ball early.
Notre Dame went into this game having scored touchdowns in 9 out of 11 red zone entries. I believe it was 3 for 3. At least it was the first 2 went their way. That's a great quality to have. You hope that you don't struggle running the football all the time, but the ability to run the football into the end zone from the red zone has been significant for them so far.
Tell you what, though, Virginia would hang around. In fact, they come back. Perkins lobs it up. What a snag here by Rusty Dubois. Just spectacular over Tariq Bracy. 16 yards on the score. Virginia takes the 17-14 lead. Bracy with really good coverage, Tim, but Dubois and Reed, those receivers were on fire in the first half.
I love Joe Reed. I love his game as well. The injury to Sean Crawford, which looks pretty significant. It's going to be up to Tariq Bracy now at the cornerback spot opposite Troy Pride Jr. He had a good game against Georgia. A little bit of a rough patch here against Virginia. He's a good ball player. He's only a sophomore. It's a kid coming out of high school, and we love his pass coverage ability.
I'll tell you what, Dubois and Reed had at least 90 receiving yards in the first half. Virginia going into the break with the lead. I think people were a little nervous here at the stadium.
Definitely so. Now, in the second half, the Notre Dame defense needed to make a play to switch up the momentum, and they got that big play. Jameer Jones strips Perkins, and it lands right in Myron Tagovailoa Amosa's lap. Run, big fella, run. He goes 48 yards to the Virginia 7-yard line. That leads to a Tony Jones Jr. touchdown run to give the Irish a 21-17 lead. My, oh my, how things changed. Big time play to put the momentum in Notre Dame's favor.
Perkins came into this game with, I think he'd been sacked 7 times coming into this game. Obviously at more than double, but he has patience back there because he has confidence in his ability to move around and make a play. He was pinpoint most of the day, but in the second half he was a little bit too patient.
Why were the Irish defensive ends so effective today?
Well, it's a pretty young and ineffective offensive line. There's 2 juniors and 3 sophomores in that starting lineup, but it was only a matter of time with Okwara and Kareem. I'm sure that they've heard the criticism of them. I don't think that they've played as poorly as maybe their statistics indicated. But let's look at the stat sheet after this week. It's going to be bumped up a little bit.
Well, the rest of the way, the momentum all in favor of the Fighting Irish. Boom, here comes Julian Okwara one more time. He gets Perkins again. Ade Ogundeji scoops it up and scores on the 23-yard fumble return. Notre Dame really separated themselves from UVA, and a lot of that had to do with Okwara and, quite frankly, the defensive line's best game of the season. They needed to have a big day. They had it.
I believe Virginia started out the second half 0 for 6 on 3rd and 4th downs. They may have picked up something late, but the defense was spectacular. They won the football game for Notre Dame.
It's like when the freebies go to the grocery store. They walked out of there with 8 sacks.
Well, one of the only bright spots on offense today was Tony Jones Jr., and he had himself a ball game as he puts the cherry on top with the 30-yard touchdown run, and the Irish just run away with this one. Over 100 yards for Jones. Good to see him get going against a tough Virginia run defense and for an Irish run game that's seen some struggles lately.
A little deceptive, that yardage figure, because he had a 28 and 30-yarder in that one series late and then added something late again to go over 100 yards. But good for Tony Jones. I mean, it's not easy for Tony Jones being the lead back on this team. It was supposed to be Jafar Armstrong. He's not a guy that you expected going into the season that would carry 15 to 18 times in a game. He's been called into duty to do that, and they don't really have much choice at this point.
Tim, where do you think Notre Dame needs to improve the most going up for next week?
Well, early in the year we thought it was going to be the offense scoring and the defense struggling because of the youth. It's really been flipped, especially the last 2 games with the way the defense has played. They've got to come up with some things in the third quarter. This is 2 starts of the second half where they've started very slowly. Chip Long is really challenged right now because they don't have a lot of playmakers in a groove. Chase Claypool twisted an ankle today and wasn't at full strength. It's good to have Cole Kmet back, but they still have some progress to make.
Well, and I'll give you an area that better improve its special teams because it nearly cost them today.
Well, I thought they were pretty good the last 2 weeks in special teams. The punt that Fink fumbled or muffed.
Don't say that 10 times.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it if I tried. That was a tough ball to handle, and he might have been better served just letting it bounce, but no punt returner wants a punt to bounce in front of him, so he came up on a low liner and struggled with it. But I think by and large the special teams have been pretty good.
Well, thank you for the time, Tim. Notre Dame wins 35-20, and you can subscribe to Irish Illustrated, the #1 source for Notre Dame sports online. Just head to irishillustrated.com and click on Join to find the best plan for you. And we're all the fans pumped up for the third meeting between the 2 teams.
But you had to scour the stands for some Wahoos. We found at least one Cavaliers fan from the Chicago suburbs. He's a UVA grad, surrounded by a lot of Irish neighbors and friends. And then there are the 2 Notre Dame roommates, one hailing all the way from Alaska. They say every game is a good game to tailgate, especially when you've got people visiting.
And also, it's pretty fun because we have our moms here today, so it's got some different generations going on. Everyone's here. And I feel like that's part of Notre Dame, the football games, like tailgating is a big part of it.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's super exciting for us to be back playing at Notre Dame in a year where our football team is back ranked in the top 20. We have some momentum. We're excited to make some noise here against the Fighting Irish.
Meanwhile, it was a soggy start for tailgaters who took to the lots early this morning. You could tell many were excited for their Irish to return home for just the second game at Notre Dame Stadium this season. Things eventually cleared out for fans. Mother Nature's gift to the Irish faithful, ready to cheer on the boys, rain or shine.
Well, that's going to do it for us now here at Notre Dame Stadium. Let's toss it over to Maria Catanzarite with more news back at the WNDU studios. MC, how's it going?
Going pretty good, Chuck Freebie. Thank you guys for a great show so far.